All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Prosper Nutrition Show, where we want you to prosper and be in health. My name is Jason Steves. I'm a clinical account specialist with Perk Integrative Health, and I'm joined today by Steve Steves, who is a certified clinical nutritionist and naturopath, and he founded the Nutrition and Health Center about 30 years ago now. Steve, how are you doing today?
Doing awesome, Jason. Every time we do one of these, I get more pumped up of all the things we want to share and enlighten people and get them on a path to the promise that God wants them to prosper and be in health.
Good. And we've got a really interesting topic. Uh, can we prevent the number one killer in the world? This is a really interesting question. Do you know what the number one killer is in the world, folks? The number one killer in the world is heart disease. That is what kills more people than any other thing in the world today. And this is something that we have learned can be prevented and even reversed. But this is not something that the medical community teaches. Now, I wanted to clarify this. We are not medical doctors. We don't diagnose or treat disease, and we actually like it that way. We do have people that we work with who are medical doctors, and we don't recommend, you know, thinking of us and using our services and our information as medical treatment. That's not something you should think of it. What we're doing is just informing you of the way things are. And Steve, tell me a little bit about your experience in regard to heart disease, what you've learned in working with clients at the Nutrition Center for the last 30 years, about heart disease and what is causing that for most people.
Well, that is a loaded question. I love that question, though, but we're going to cover one angle of that today
Okay.
because I did write a really good article on heart health,
Okay.
cardiovascular disease, and I know that we have that available. The Nutrition Foundations for Heart Health just published this year. So I know you're going to make that available to the people at the end of this show so they can tap into everything. And we're going to
Right.
highlight something each week. And we're getting started a week early because heart health is a big topic. It's the number one killer. We've been doing detox for a good part of January, and detox leads into heart health, and the
Right.
benefits of detoxing must be held on to in order to maintain a healthy heart as well. So we'll always touch back on that particular topic and its association. So
So
from
you're
the
Go ahead.
from the history, we have struggled with finding answers and providing answers on what the number one reason is. And there's always multiple factors
Hmm.
involved.
Hmm.
And so we get into those 7 proven steps. This week, we're going to talk about specifically one supplement that we want to target that really is, there's nothing like it in the marketplace. The purity, the quality, and the effectiveness of reversing cardiovascular disease. I want to show you an example of an individual who used, let me share my desktop. Uh, this was a live cell analysis of someone who came in initially. They were experiencing high blood pressure and they were on multiple different types of medications. And over a period of time, I would believe it was about 3 months, we detoxified and then we reestablished good nutrition and good lifestyle habits. And they went from that blood to this blood, and you still see a little bit of oxidation in there, a few platelets floating around, but they were well on their way 3 months down the road and not looking back with the old lifestyle. So this is doable for every individual. The life of the flesh is in the blood, and we want to restore these healthy cell membranes so blood is fully energized and able to deliver the goods throughout our body systems.
That's really neat.
So, yeah, so we see that time and time again. Been looking at live blood for 30 years, and it's something that really shakes people when they see their own blood alive under a microscope, and then
Mm.
they make lifestyle changes, and they see the impact of those lifestyle changes and what it does to the blood. It's nothing more motivating than that, because that is the blood, that's the sludge you saw that was moving, trying to move through a person's heart. Now, the number
Mm.
one factor that is in your question is linked to a study. I'm going to share the study. It's the preview of this article, the Marine Omega-3 Supplementation, Cardiovascular Disease, a meta-analysis of 13 controlled studies involving 127,000 participants. Now, this has gone on since 1948, but they didn't know how to look closely at the effect that omega-3 supplementation, fatty acids in the diet, had on cardiovascular disease. This specific study was based on the people using supplementation prior to, and when the Journal of the American Medical Association published this article, this was a summary of their article in 1996 that said omega-3 index tests, which we do. This is a sample test, our Omega Quant. Is that showing up on the
Yes.
screen? Okay.
Well, now, right now, it looks like, yes. Yeah, it's the article, right?
Okay, hold on. Let me get this thing to share the whole screen.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I would add to this, and you already kind of mentioned it, is a lot of times people don't realize how um, connected the issues of inflammation are to the buildup of issues, basically buildup in the bloodstream. And omega-3 fatty acids are huge in helping resolve inflammation. And so yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
let's walk them through that association with inflammation, Jason, because that chart I have right here, that was going to be in this discussion as well. There's so much to talk about the impact of fish oils. Remember now, Jesus chose the miracle replication of food to be fish. And not everybody loves fish, but God knew in providing for people the benefits it would provide for their physiology, for their brain, for their nervous system, for their ability to understand and comprehend, because the DHA that's in fish oil enhances memory and the ability for him to preach for 4 hours. It also stabilizes the blood sugar that comes into the cells for blood sugar balance. So fish oil doesn't just lower inflammation. Is in our Trinity Diet book. We have a story of a world-class, actually a world record holder, long drive golfer. His name was Bobby Wilson, and he had a pain issue and inflammation in his knee, and we upped his fish oil consumption and got the blockage of the pain to go from a pain level of a 10, he said, to where the doctor was going to offer operation, to a level 4, and he was able to win a world title and recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records. He won 2 titles in one evening. So EPA is involved in blocking the delta-5 desaturase enzyme that's in omega-6 pathways of inflammation. This is where this imbalance exists. So when you can test that in the Omega Quant test, this is actually Amy's test, my wife, her index level at 11.68, way up here, very desirable. We want to have high omega-3 content to lower inflammation. And the ratio of that with her omega-6 was 2.8 to 1, which is desirable and optimal. The average American is about 25 to 1 on the omega-6 to omega-3. And those are the oils that are cheap oils like corn oil and plant oils that are used in cooking with restaurants. And when you go and processing, it's used in a lot of processed foods. So this direct production of anti-inflammatory hormones called prostaglandins and the blocking of the arachidonic acid in the inflammatory cascade is a huge factor for lowering inflammation, which then makes the cells circulate better. There's less stickiness in the blood. due to less inflammation. So oils work in the membrane to lubricate, like you would oil the door of your car if it was creaking, or your house.
Yeah.
Just so important. And I know as a PERC account representative, Jason, you really have a lot of understanding of the quality of the products. And I thought we should mention the Pure Omega 3, why it's set apart, why it's superior, and it can get those results in blood chemistry that we saw in that live blood. And
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The formula of fish oil that is used, that is ideal, is going to contain obviously marine lipids, but it's going to be broken down into EPA and DHA at a an ideal ratio. I think it's, what is it? Um, 6 EPA to 4 DHA, or something of that nature. And it could be a little bit more even than that, but as far as quality, this is an important issue, especially with fish oil, because most of the fish oils that are being produced are are very poor quality because of the how easy it is for fish oils to be rancid, to go rancid. When you process these fish oils, they can very easily oxidize. So that's one very important issue. And then, making sure the fish oil is clean. And the fish oils, that the way that you process them for supplements, you need to make sure that they have been distilled. So that's an important thing. So the two ways that you want to think about having fish oil supplementation produced is it's going to be distilled, but it's doing that distillation process under nitrogen, so that the oxygen is not getting to it during the process and creating oxidation and the fish oil becoming rancid. So that's a simple way to kind of look at it, and that's how our formula is developed. It is distilled under nitrogen, and that allows for the product to be very clean. Our standards of testing are higher than the normal standards, and there's practically, I mean, you're not going to avoid mercury completely in life, and most people are like deathly afraid of getting mercury in fish oil a lot of times, especially the people that kind of avoid fish oils supplements. But you want to make sure that it's quality, because you can get a little bit excess mercury, because that is an exposure, and other heavy metals that the fish get exposed to in the ocean. But distilling it and making sure that it's being independent third party tested, so that there's a confirmation that the mercury levels are within standard, and we use a standard that's beyond. So more normally it's parts per million, but our standard is parts per billion. So we go 1,000 times greater in regard to keeping that mercury level low. So there's practically no mercury present in our formula. And so those are some things that you want to think about when you're looking for a fish oil product. Most companies are not, kind of making this information very clear to you. And that's another thing that you want to be aware of. I mean, anything you're putting in your body, you want to make sure that you know what it's composed of. I mean, I really like this guy. One time I was listening to him. He was very, I would say in his 60s, or no, he was like in his 70s, maybe his 80s, and he'd been doing triathlons for years and years and still doing them. And one of the things he said is, I don't eat anything that I can't name its parts. And I thought, well, that's just really good.
That's good.
And so I think the same thing goes with supplements. You want to be able to be confident and know that what are in your supplements are from food sourced. And that's kind of gets into another thing that we do with our supplements, which is a full disclosure label. Everything that's in our formulas is on the label. And so that's a really important thing that you want to have, because there are things that the supplement industry, that the FDA allows in supplements, but the companies don't have to put on the label. If you have it under a certain amount. I mean, these are usually binders, fillers, and excipients. And these binders, fillers, and excipients can actually cause some, actually, I say cause, they can contribute to health issues, especially, down the line. So you want to make sure that the supplements you're taking you're confident that everything that is in the supplement, that what's in there, and and that you're not getting all these binders, fillers, and excipients, these things that are going to contribute to some health problems when you're trying to help your health with taking a supplement. So,
Yeah,
um,
beyond that, Jason, I'm
yeah,
thinking about if they're not using a nitrogen blanket, if they're not processing it safely to the degree that our
yeah,
company does this, then you're getting what are called lipid peroxides, and they cause cellular damage. So they cause oxidation, free radical damage, and
right,
they increase the risk to heart disease. They make stickier blood. And that's why there's so much skepticism out there among the people and in the research, because even when they're doing research, they're looking at poor quality supplements and comparing their impact on health outcomes. And you're going to have bad outcomes with poor quality supplements,
right.
sometimes even making it worse. So, just like anything, I think it's kind of like the Christian worldview today, the biblical
Mhm.
worldview, which is God's view, that we need to partake. He gave us his word. He sent his word to heal us and deliver us from our destruction, 1 John 3:8 says. So, in trusting in that worldview, we have to lean on that truth that will only set us free, and trust that you don't know the motive of companies. You don't know the motive of who's discounting you and who's trying to promote something online. I see so much promotion that happens
Mhm.
over the social media outlets, and it's leading people to spend a lot of money on stuff that is not giving them benefits. So we're hopeful that this will help them. Look at this chart I've got published up here. This is, again, we were talking about that. I showed you Amy's omega-3 index test was at 11.6 and gave her full reduction in a risk to cardiac event of stroke and heart attack. Now, the average American, and I've tested them too, I did a gentleman recently, and he was about 3.5%. That's just the average American diet, which has a very high inflammatory rate, and that's why they show that first bar graph uh,
Wow.
in a red position, but literally can reduce it by tenfold, up to 90% reduction if we can get those levels up above 10.9%. It's optimal. And that
Yeah.
actually is, at the time, she was taking four for her little body, 5'3" and only about 115 pounds, taking four fish oil capsules a day of our pure omega-3. I
Mhm.
was taking six for my body size of 150 pounds, and I was getting about 10.8% omega-3 index. So we do it based on body size. A 200-pound man may want to consume, 8 a day of the pure omega if they want to
Mhm.
keep in that safe zone. You'll notice the memory enhancement, and of course the cell energy, our liquid cell energy, which let me release the screen, and that way you could put that up there for them. Our cell energy is an emulsifier, which helps for conversion or uptake and what we call emulsion or emulsification. Now, I know the oil is emulsified um, through processing anyway, so it is highly absorbable. But there it is, that cell energy, that is a must to help you to emulsify your good fats and take them up into the membranes, that
Right.
choline citrate, not to mention its effect on the neurotransmission and memory. I've noticed my short-term memory has just drastically changed for the better by the use of this product in the last 2 years since we private labeled.
Yeah, it's an amazing, amazing product that, and kind of to break it down more simply is that, the the bile that comes from our liver and gallbladder that dumps out into our small intestine. You're aware of this, I know, Steve, but I wanted to kind of explain it to folks, is that actually helps break down fats in our digestive tract so that it can be more easily absorbable into our cells to utilize for healthy cellular function. And so if when we have health issues, that bile flow is often reduced dramatically, and we have a difficult time breaking down our fats. Well, the choline in choline citrate helps the liver and gallbladder to promote more bile flow, more and better bile flow, and therefore we're going to get a much better fat metabolism as a result. And there's other benefits, as you mentioned, Steve. But that's kind of how it breaks down in regard to how the fats work. But wanted to make a note in regard to this. Now, this number one killer in the whole world, heart disease, we can prevent and even reverse it if we focus on these points that we've talked about today. A lot of it comes down to reducing inflammation in the body. And there are multiple ways that we do that. We make sure that the immune system is healthy, and we also support the body's detoxification pathways. And this heart health bundle has been put together to do both of those things and more. And so you want to make sure that you keep that in mind, as you want to reduce inflammation in your body and help your immune system be healthy and strong. And then your risk for heart disease comes down drastically. Your fat levels go up because, the omega-3 fats and that's one of the aspects of reducing inflammation and helping immune health and cellular function. So that's a way that you can think about it. And, it's from our perspective, it's simple to understand, and maybe you understand it and get it clearly. The challenge comes in, and you can, if you want to speak to this, Steve, we're going to round out the show here with these last statements. The challenge comes in is living it, practicing it, implementing it into your lifestyle, and resisting the temptations in our society today to have an inflammatory and immune suppressant lifestyle. And so that's the challenge. There's so many things bombarding us that are going to be promoting our body to be inflamed and suppressing our immune system from actually functioning and resolving and healing the body. Do you have any comments that you'd like to share on that note to help us round out the end of the show today?
Yeah, I would like to take us back there. You can see a picture of the Heart Health Bundle, but if we go back to the home page of Prosper Nutrition, you see the link at the bottom, the free 7 proven steps to create a healthy lifestyle. I really encourage you all to, put your name and email in there, share this with friends and family. It's a founded guide on biblical truths and scientific truths that answer that very question, Jason, how they can
Right.
focus on the top 7 areas to allow for the body to heal, reverse heart disease, and restore immune health, to restore digestive health, to allow the body to detoxify more efficiently. All body systems function in a more unified manner when these 7 proven steps are dealt with. And they all require some effort on a daily basis, little by little. And as you get into a routine of it, you'll appreciate just the peace and balance it brings in your life. But these are God's methodologies that are meant for you.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you're watching the recording, we want to give you a bonus. You can get 10% off your order today, ordering the Heart Health Bundle, the Immune Bundle, the Detox Bundle, 10% off the products that we've mentioned today in the store. If you use the code today's date, 12524 show. 12524 show. That's today's date and the word show you use that code in the coupon code at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your order. You can feel the difference very, very quickly in regard to your health when you start taking high quality supplements that are geared to get results, that are backed by science, that have been used clinically for decades. You can start feeling the results, and it can give you some energy and excitement and some motivation to really start implementing these 7 proven steps into your life. That's our goal, is to help you with that. And we're here for you as well. You can get in touch with us. You can type in the comments in YouTube and we'll respond to you. You can send us an email at info@prospernutrition.com, and you can give us a call. We've got a phone number on our website, prospernutrition.com. We're available for you. We want to help you to prosper and be in health. And thank you guys for joining us today on the show. And thank you, Steve. Appreciate you and your
Hey, you're
wisdom.
welcome. You're welcome, Jason. I'm excited for next week. I know we have a guest speaker. He's a pastor and he's overcome diabetes. He's got off his medication. And I don't want to tell you all of it about reversing heart disease and some others. So he's going to share his testimony. And we're going to be prompt on our time as we want to respect his time. So we're going to bring him on right at 10:15 next week, the 1st of February, Heart Health Month. I'm excited to hear from Pastor James and his testimony. So y'all be there. Look forward to seeing you there.
All
Thanks for
right.
watching.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks, Steve. Y'all have